Welcome to the Get Sacred podcast. I'm your host, intuitive life coach Melissa Elysian, and I'm here to teach you how to create more money, more love, and more sacred success. If your inner goddess is ready to create a lusciously abundant and pleasure-filled life, you're in the right place. Hey, love. Boy, it has been quite the few weeks. It's crazy because right before this health issue that we've got going on in the world right now, I was planning on focusing my attentions towards the work I do with women around money. And when I got clear maybe over a month ago about wanting to do that, about wanting to create a program that revolved around that, I was planning on taking a week or two to kind of resituate and plan and give myself permission to just marinate on it and really build out the vision. And funny enough, in the time that I thought that that's what I would be doing and taking that time to do it, the world kind of paused. I mean, nothing technically has stopped, but a lot of things have stopped. A lot of things have stopped, and in the time between, from then to now, there's been room for me to get solid and feel really sure about my decision and my focus. I mean, my work centers itself around reminding you as often as possible of your personal power, your divine power to create a life that you crave, that you want, that you love, that you enjoy. And in making a little pivot of my focus towards money, it's not really outside of that. I mean, what's called me to it is this recognition that for so many women, especially, working on feeling worthy and feeling deserving of having more than enough than you need is a big deal. I mean, the whole system is set up to convince you to need as little as possible and to believe that you have to work as hard as you possibly can to get whatever you have. There's nothing there that says it's allowed to be easy. There's nothing there that says you don't have to do anything for it. There's nothing there that says, oh, you're inherently worthy of that. You can receive without having to do a bunch of stuff. There's nothing there, not in our society. And so I thought to myself, this is a really powerful way to get at the core of that deserving and get at the core of knowing that you can create everything. And I say that because not only are you using all of your powers of manifestation and really aligning into your divinity to know when you decide to create anything, especially money, it's also that when you're doing that, you get to liberate yourself from a lot of the things in our culture that hold you back. So this business of not being invited to sit at the table, when you get your money right, you build your own table, and you get to invite other people when you do it, right? So it's not just about building the table, it's also about inviting other people to the table, right? When you align yourself with the energy of money, you don't just get to empower yourself, you get to empower your community, you get to take people with you. And I think that's so essential for the level of work that we have to do to bring our culture into a reality that makes sense, right? We're so discombobulated. I mean, what a mess how patriarchy and racism have fucked up our world. What a mess. And so this work that I'm feeling really empowered to focus on is to empower you to create what we're all dreaming of, what we're all wanting. Yes, of course, it starts with peace and love, but if you can leverage your resources so that you're not feeling like you don't have choices, right? That's one of the things that I think is so important. Money gives you choices, right? I feel like you can make different decisions. You don't have to stay within the confines of what society is telling you you have to do or it expects you to do when you have the ability to take care of yourself. You know, money also allows you to point your energy, point your good, loving energy in the direction of whoever needs you the most, or whatever your heart is calling you to do. I think these things are so important, but I think these things are so important, and I know for you to be able to do that, you have to have a deep sense of worthiness to feel like you can receive it. You have to have a deep sense of deserving to know that you can receive it. You have to have a deep sense of your divinity and your power to know that you can create it. And those are the things that I want for you the most. And I am so excited and thrilled about what I know it can give you. And so that's why, a few weeks ago, I was diving into, this work around money. I was kind of just dabbling to see what the response was going to be. And it was powerful. I heard from you guys about my shares, about my student loan debt, about my thoughts and beliefs about money being sacred and how I get to use it, your thoughts about all sorts of things related to it. I got emails from you. I got comments from you. And it was exciting for me because I just thought, that kind of response means that it's needed and I'm up to the task. I mean, it's a pleasure for me. So I'm excited about it. I just started a Facebook group that I titled Sacred Six Figures. And I titled it that because I thought that that would be a really good place for me to help women energetically align to, because it's exactly the same place where I'm trying to align in my business right now. It's crazy, but so real that, my first year as a nurse, my salary plus my benefits surpassed 100K, like easy. And it didn't, it didn't like that was easy. I mean, the work was not easy, but I mean, it was easy for me to process that. I understood, or at least I could get behind, I could align to the fact that, I had gone to school to learn how to do this job. I had worked really hard. And so in my first year, it seemed appropriate to me that I would be compensated as such for the work. So, since then, making 100K in my career as a nurse has not really, it's never been something hard for me to like get around, to like get behind, or like believe in, or align to, or match the energy of. I just kind of, it's hard first of all, it's freaking hard work, and I had worked so hard already, so it didn't really feel like anything crazy, or I didn't have any doubts about whether I deserved it. But now that I'm, in my business, it's funny because I find myself without the constructs of our society, without this idea of, oh, I went to school for a really long time and I invested in it and blah, 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 blah. The construct of what our society does and thinks and feels around money, because because working in my business is outside of that, because it doesn't have that framework, because it doesn't have that, it doesn't have, like, I'm not because I haven't been brainwashed into believing in doing work that way. It's been harder for me to get in alignment with that. It really has, right? So deciding, even deciding prices for my services, allowing myself to receive, making investments in my business, all of it falls outside of what I traditionally understood as how to bring in income. And I've seen myself struggle to realign with worthiness and deserving and capable, like capacity and just like confidence around making that same amount of money in a different way, it blows my mind, because for me, this work that I do, coaching, is so much more aligned to who I am and what all of my gifts are, that it astounds me that there would be a struggle there. That said, I understand that I've had years of this programming, years of this training, that this is the way we do it. This is the way that we earn money. And the work that I'm doing right now steps outside of that, like to the point of, my parents don't have a clear understanding of what I'm doing. Certainly I could try to explain the details. It's not really that difficult, but in their minds, nothing surpasses the work that I do as a nurse. Like, that makes the most sense to them. That is the most practical. That is the most secure. And so I'd be, I'd be it'd be silly for me to not assume that that's why my mind and my thoughts and my beliefs find it so easy to really align to this idea that I get paid really well when I do this hard work that I've invested lots of time and money into, versus I get paid really, really well when I do this work that is kind of easy for me to do and is my own, and no one's telling me what to do, and I'm the boss, and I'm not waiting for someone to give me instructions. That said, it's been a glorious year in my business, right? I've totally surpassed I made more in January and February probably than I did last year, like all of last year. I've watched my mind do some crazy backflips to get behind this work that I'm doing, right? Like, I've seen myself this year make investments that completely scared me, and then yet I made them, like, without hesitation. And I keep doing it. I keep watching myself as I actually up level my match to the money that I'm making. It's just so much easier with time for me to make offers to help people, and for me to know how to reinvest in my business, and for me to articulate what I'm doing and the value of it, and for me to receive what I'm so worthy and deserving of as far as compensation for what I'm giving to people. I mean, I don't even think that there's dollar values that really fit what the work that I get to do, the things that I get to help heal, the freedoms that I get to give. And every day I see myself more easily aligning to understanding that and being able to receive in all sorts of ways around that. And right now my journey is not allowing, but right now my journey is, and maybe allowing is the right word. Right now my journey is allowing this business to make the six figures with ease in my mind, the way that I with ease was able to get in alignment with making over 100K in nursing. And it really is, it's a significant mindset shift. And it's not just about being in business. For a lot of people, you could still be working in like corporate America and still haven't wrapped your head around what you're capable of making and what you're capable of receiving, right? I've definitely had clients who can't get past the fact that they're worried about how much they're going to have to work if they want to make more, not realizing that within an hour conversation with me that we can totally make a plan where they're working less and making that money, right? I mean, in a recent conversation, it was just as simple as like, oh, well, if you take that leadership role, okay, so it feels like it's going to be more work, but what if you're going to not be on your team anymore? So you're going to step into this role and then you're going to be able to add a new team member. That's going to be less work for you. Now you're going to have a team member to take care of work that right now in your head you're convinced you're going to have to do, and you can learn, you're going to make more money, so you'll be able to leverage some of this money that you're making to alleviate work that you have to do at home. Maybe you can get someone to come in once a week or twice a week to help around the house. Maybe, like there's so many ways around it, but you can find yourself not being able to imagine the possibility if you've got some blocks about worthiness and fear around it not being possible without it being really, really hard. There's so many things. Like I could go on forever about all of the kinds of blocks related to creating more wealth that we've been programmed and primed to have. And I know them well because I've been kicking their butt for the last, I don't even know how long, for a long time, working up to making this first 100K in my business. And so back to the Facebook group, the group is centered around me sharing the mindset and the kind of the energy matching, the alignment, the matching to the money that I want to make. And I want to share everything that I've learned that's made it easy for me to increase my income in my business, but also has made it easy for me to take risk in my business, to bet on myself in my business, and for me to make this pivot to working for myself. And I know that's not what everyone's goal is, but what the most important thing for me is that you are aligning with more. You're aligning with more, and you're aligning with more than enough, because from this space of overflow, you can do so much. It will empower you in so many ways, and it can give you so much more freedom. And I want that for you desperately. I want you to know that you have the power to create that for yourself. And so this Facebook group is just going to be about me teaching my mindset and how I've aligned my life and my energy around creating more in my business and in my life. And I want you to have that. So I'd love for you to join it. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, once I can get myself aligned to, right? I need to like match the energy of six figures in my business. Once I can align to that energy, and I hope you're catching this, right? I hope if you haven't, I wish I knew exactly which episode it is, but we are aligning to everything that we're wanting to create in this world. You're energetically aligning to it. That's how I teach everyone to do it, right? It's not just like, oh, I'm going to call it in, I want to make it happen. It's like starting to live and breathe and believe in the exact energy of what you're trying to create. And so I'm trying to create six figures in my business, and I'm wanting to share with you all of the thoughts and all of the behaviors and all of the ways that I'm aligning myself to it so that you can create it. But I'm also doing it because I have that clear understanding that all of the things that I'm working on to do that are also very much the things that I'm going to need to do when I decide that I want to make 6 figures in a month. It will be me working on my belief around what is possible. It will be working on my belief about what I deserve and what I'm worthy of. It will be the same, and it will be at a different level. And so I'm thinking to myself, I get to share this now, but I don't think that this work really changes except for you do it at a new level. So I love the title of it, Sacred 6 Figures, because I know that it could be years, a sacred 6 figure year, or a month, or a day. I know that's possible. I know that's a real thing that happens for people. But more importantly, even if that's not the thing that you're wanting, I know that I can teach you to get in alignment with any number that you're wanting to do. I know the work of doing that, and because I've been doing it, and I want to share it with you. As a woman of color, especially in this country, there's just so many freaking ways that we're being held back. So many ways in which it's harder for us. And I feel like this is such, figuring out how to match the energy of the money that you want to create is such a empowering way to get around all that bullshit. I mean, mentally, it's this constant work of knowing that you're worthy when a society is constantly telling you that you're not. And giving yourself, per my last podcast episode, privileging yourself and giving yourself the things that people are not inclined to hand to you, right? Creating it for yourself, giving yourself permission to show up in the spaces that you want to be, creating the things that you want for yourself and not waiting for anyone else to give it to you. Like, fuck that. I've had many conversations with women of color and men of color, and certainly it's been my experience that in a lot of our workplaces, it's just not fun. It's just not fun to be the only one, and to be, sometimes it's that we're the only one, to be held responsible to be the representative for everyone in our race, to be presumed to be less educated, or to be complimented because we're able to put a sentence together. I mean, the number of times I've been told that I'm articulate, it's like I speak English. I'm putting sentence structure together the way that I've been told. I don't know that I'm doing anything special, but it would seem that your mind is blown. It's microaggression on top of microaggression. It's so annoying. And if you can get yourself to get behind making the money that you want, whether you're making it at a job or you're making it on your own, you give yourself choice, right? You get to decide, like, I'm not trying to be here anymore. If you don't want to be there anymore, instead of having to be there. And with that, one of the things that's coming up for me right now as I work on my own goal is, a lot of people are out of work right now because we're all isolating ourselves to do our part in the world and keep everyone safe to the best of our ability. And my mom and one of my sisters are at the front lines, one works in a hospital and one works in a nursing home. And I think to myself, this work that I'm doing to create the freedoms that I'm wanting in my life. And don't get me wrong, I have, my life is sweet. It's great. But I know there's more available to me. This thing that I'm working on is really not just for myself. I think to myself, what if I was in a position where I could tell them, like, you can sit this out? I can't do that right now. The last year especially, I've invested a lot in my business, and I've done so intentionally, and I'm very happy about it. I don't regret it. It's been the right decision. And so I haven't been putting a lot aside for just sitting around. I've been leveraging every dollar so that I can do more, so that I can help more people, and so that my work is more powerful, so that I'm a better coach, and so that I'm a better businesswoman, and so that I'm, growing in the way that I want this thing to grow. But I definitely have had the thought more than twice this week where I thought, what if I was in the position to tell them, you don't have to do this, right? And what if they were in the position where they got to decide that they didn't have to? And I feel like, of course they can make a choice not to, but I would have loved to been able to say with ease and grace, listen, if you'd like to sit the next few months out and not participate in the crazy that's going on in that way, because it is a big sacrifice, it's nerve-wracking, and it's dangerous, I'd love to tell them, you get to back out of this, and I got you. And I can't wait. To be able to do that. I'm planning on doing that. I can't wait to do it. And that's the power. That's the power that, getting in alignment, knowing what you're capable of, and knowing what you're worthy of can do, right? In a big and a small way. Because I think for some people who are at the front lines right now, maybe it's not because they want to. Maybe they don't have a choice. And I don't really believe in that. I don't really believe in doing things because you don't have a choice. I don't believe in not having a choice. I believe that we should do the things that we're called to do. And I know that there are people called to do this work, and they should be the ones doing this work. And a lot of times that person has been me. And I know what that means. I know the value of that. I think that is really, really powerful when people live in alignment with who they are and what they want to give in the world. It's so good for all of us. Anyway, I'm rambling. Where am I now? I guess it just comes down to these two things that I'm telling you over and over and over again. You have the divine power to create what you want. And you are so worthy of receiving it. And I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time for the next foreseeable future helping you do that around money. One, because that was the plan pre-situation that's going on right now. And second, because the situation has only made it more clear to me that women really need to be empowered to do that. The circumstances are that a lot of people's sources of incomes have changed or are non-existent, and what needs to come out of that is people who feel empowered to make changes and get creative and feel worthy to receive in new ways, because that's what's required. The world has kind of changed. And so I want you to have those skills. I want you to have those tools. I want you to have the mindset required. I want you to know how to energetically align in your body, in your soul, in your life. So I'm going to do that. Because I love you. All right. I think that's everything that I wanted to share. I love you very, very much. If you follow me on Instagram, hit the link in my bio to join the Facebook group. If you are on Facebook, search the group called Sacred Six Figures and join me in this work. Because even if money is not the thing that you're wanting to call in, I promise you there's good medicine in that group. It's going to give you what you need in regards to really truly getting to the place of feeling worthy and learning how to grow that belief, and then also learning how powerful you are and how powerful your mind is and how powerful making changes, energetic changes in your life can create anything. We're going to be creating a lot more than money, because money's not everything, right? And so I'm going to give you the tools to create everything, and then I'm going to show you how to flex on cash. All right. I love you. Bye. Hey, one more thing. Next week, I'm planning on doing a masterclass dedicated to helping you be flexible and creative around making more money, right, in this time where we really do need to be flexible, right? Like if you have a storefront, you have to change the way that you're doing things. If you have a business that you work for and they're closed down, you might need to create a whole new source of income. All sorts of things are happening as far as change and the way people work and the way that people bring in money. And just because that has happened doesn't mean that your gifts and talents are not needed, or that you don't have something to give and can't create what you need, create the income that you need. And so I'm going to do a class about that, kind of help you stay creative and open and show you my process for aligning with what I'm trying to create, so that you can do that, so that your mind gets behind it, so that your soul gets behind it, so that your actions are aligned to those things, so that they're aligned to what you're trying to create, and so that you can make it happen for yourself right now in this time where we need to be open and expansive and allow ourselves to hear from the universe, to be inspired, to get guidance, and to create flow of all sorts of things, including money. So if you'd like to participate, I didn't set, I think it's going to be next Wednesday, which is what is next Wednesday? I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. If you join the Facebook group, you'll be notified. So what you should do is join Sacred Six Figures on Facebook, and then I'll be posting there exactly when the class is going to be, and then you'll be in the know. All right. I love you again. Bye.